My wife Sarah and I have been married for 5 years, and our life has always been pretty peaceful. But one evening, something happened that completely threw me off balance. Sarah was on a business trip, and I was home alone. The doorbell rang and it was Chloe, Sarah's best friend. I've known Chloe for years. She's practically family. "Hey, Mark." Sarah told me she was out of town, so I thought I'd drop by and keep you company. "Hope you don't mind," she said with a bright smile, holding up a bottle of wine. I welcomed her in, happy for the company. We ordered takeout, opened the wine, and settled on the couch to watch a movie. Everything felt normal, just two friends hanging out. As the evening went on, Chloe started acting a bit different. She kept inching closer to me on the couch, her leg occasionally brushing against mine. At first, I thought nothing of it. The couch isn't huge after all. We talked about work, our friends, and how much we both missed Sarah. Chloe topped up my wine glass again and again, even though I told her I'd had enough. Then, she looked at me with an intensity that made me uncomfortable. "You know, Mark," she said, her voice a little lower than usual, "Sarah's so lucky to have you. You're a really great guy." I thanked her, feeling a knot form in my stomach. Her hand rested on my knee, and she leaned in closer. "It's just us tonight," she whispered. "No one would ever have to know." My heart started pounding. Was this really happening? This was Sarah's best friend, someone I trusted completely. The house, which had always been my sanctuary, suddenly felt like a trap. The air was thick with a tension I'd never experienced before. I felt a mix of shock, confusion, and a creeping sense of dread. I gently removed her hand from my knee and stood up, trying to create some distance. "Chloe, I think you've had a bit too much to drink," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I'm really tired. Maybe it's time to call it a night. I needed to end this right now." Her expression changed from seductive to disappointed, then to a flicker of anger. "Oh, come on, Mark. Don't be like that." "I thought we were friends," she said, her tone laced with a hint of manipulation. This was a side of Chloe I had never seen before. It was unnerving. I insisted, telling her I could call her a cab. She finally relented, grabbing her purse with a huff. The silence as I walked her to the door was deafening. After she left, I locked the door and leaned against it, my mind racing. What just happened? How could she do this, knowing how much Sarah means to both of us? I couldn't sleep that night. I kept replaying the scene in my head. The way she looked at me, the things she said. It felt like a betrayal, not just of my trust, but of her friendship with Sarah. I felt guilty, even though I knew I hadn't done anything wrong. The whole situation made my skin crawl. The biggest question looming over me was, should I tell Sarah? Telling her would undoubtedly shatter her world. Chloe was her maid of honor, her confidant, the person she turned to for everything. Finding out her best friend had tried to make a move on her husband would be devastating. It could end their lifelong friendship, and I didn't want to be the one to cause that pain. The thought of the fallout, the drama, the heartbreak. It was overwhelming. But if I didn't tell her, I'd be keeping a massive secret. Our marriage is built on honesty and trust. Hiding something this significant felt like a betrayal in itself. What if Chloe tried something again? What if she twisted the story and told Sarah a different version of events, making it seem like I was the one who was out of line? The secret would hang over me, a constant source of anxiety. The next day, I felt like a zombie. I tried to distract myself with work, but my mind kept drifting back to Chloe's words. "It's just us tonight." The phrase echoed in my head. When Sarah called that evening, her voice full of excitement about her trip, I could barely form a coherent sentence. "Is everything okay?" "You sound weird," she asked, concern in her voice. I brushed it off, blaming it on being tired. But the lie felt heavy on my tongue. I was torn. On one hand, protecting Sarah from the truth seemed like the kindest thing to do. Why burden her with this ugliness? Maybe it was a one-time drunken mistake on Chloe's part, something we could all just move past and forget. Maybe ignorance really was bliss in this case. On the other hand, a marriage without complete honesty isn't a real partnership. Sarah deserved to know the kind of person her best friend truly was. She deserved to know about the threat to our relationship, even if it came from an unexpected place. If I hid this, would I be protecting her, or would I just be protecting myself from a difficult conversation? And what if she found out later from someone else? The damage would be 100 times worse. I spent the next few days in a state of turmoil. I avoided Chloe's texts, which were surprisingly casual, as if nothing had happened. "Hey, had fun the other night. We should do it again soon," one of them read. My blood ran cold. This wasn't a one-off mistake. This was a pattern of behavior she intended to continue. That text solidified my decision. I had to tell Sarah. When Sarah got home, I was a nervous wreck. I waited until we had unpacked and settled in. I sat her down on the couch, the same couch where it had all happened just a few nights before. My heart was in my throat. "Sarah," I began, my voice trembling slightly, "there's something I need to tell you about the night Chloe came over." I recounted the entire evening, leaving out no detail, from the way she kept pouring the wine to the words she whispered. I watched as Sarah's expression shifted from confusion to disbelief, and then to a deep, heart-wrenching sadness. Tears welled up in her eyes, and my heart broke for her. Seeing her in so much pain was worse than anything I had imagined. She was quiet for a long time, just staring at the floor. I didn't know what to say, so I just sat there, my hand on her back. Finally, she looked at me, her eyes red. Did you do anything?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "No," I said firmly, looking her straight in the eye. "Never. You and our marriage mean everything to me. I would never betray that." A wave of relief washed over her face, but it was quickly replaced by anger. Anger at Chloe. She pulled out her phone, her hands shaking. "I'm going to call her," she said, her voice filled with a cold fury I'd never heard from her before. I didn't try to stop her. This was her battle to fight. I had done my part by telling her the truth. The phone call was brutal. I could only hear Sarah's side of it, but it was enough. There were tears, raised voices, and accusations. From what I could gather, Chloe initially denied it, then tried to downplay it, calling it a drunken joke. But Sarah didn't back down. "Our friendship is over, Chloe," I heard her say before she hung up. The aftermath was difficult. Sarah mourned the loss of her best friend, a relationship she had cherished for over a decade. There were days she was sad and days she was angry. But through it all, she kept thanking me. "Thank you for being honest with me," she said one night, her head on my shoulder. "I don't know what I would have done if I'd found out some other way. Our trust is the most important thing." It was a painful, messy situation, and it left a scar. But in a strange way, it made our marriage stronger. We faced a huge test, a direct threat to our foundation, and we came out the other side united. We learned that true partnership isn't about avoiding difficult situations. It's about facing them together, with honesty and integrity. It wasn't easy, and it certainly wasn't pretty, but telling the truth was the only choice. It saved us. Our home is our sanctuary again, built not just on love, but on a foundation of unbreakable trust. And that's something no betrayal can ever take away. Thanks for listening to my story. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.